Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. I hope you're doing well. Welcome if you're new here, and if you're a return subscriber, thank you so much for all your support. It's much appreciated. Just wanted to say thank you for your recent donations via Super Thanks, coffees and PayPal. It really means a lot and helps me keep the channel going. Now, I've wanted to do this reading for quite some time, a few years actually, but I've waited for the right time because I'm always guided to do my readings when signs come through. And this is regarding Paul McCartney from the Beatles, and the sort of rumour, let's say, it's been going around for a long time that he actually died in 1966 and was replaced. Now, I went down this rabbit hole a few years ago, found a few things online, and you've got to trust your gut, obviously, in terms of what you feel. So go with what you feel. Obviously, I'm not here to sway anyone, but this is what I feel. Just instinctively, there was something about it that drew me in. And I thought, yeah, there's more to this. If you look at footage, there are certain things you cannot change about someone's appearance, and about them, i.e. voice, facial, bone structure and teeth. And some people have looked into those things and found that, the teeth prior to 1966 and after are different. And I believe they say there's been reconstruction, surgery, but as I said, bone structure is something you really can't replicate. So, if you haven't heard about this, take a look online and see what there is. Look closely at pictures. Listen to music prior to 66 and after. I feel there's a change in the voice. From what I could hear from a couple of tracks. There's loads out there. But anyway, I left it. I thought, okay, I'll just see what comes through, if spirit comes through. And then that happened. So I believe the original Paul is in spirit. I'm just going to put that out there. And the second one, they call him Fool. If you look up Faul, you'll find stuff online. Now, how this came about was I did a channeling passed on loved ones. I did a couple of them on my channel about a year or so ago. They're still on my channel here. And there was one where what I do is I sit with a piece of paper and I just allow any spirits to come through. Now, it's quite draining to do that, so I don't really do them anymore. But I remember Paul, let's say, came through. It was all written down on paper, and I shared it. And I was getting musician, famous band, was removed, something like that, was taken out. So that came through in that reading. No one picked up on that, I don't feel. So that was interesting. Then recently I did a tea leaf reading, and I remember seeing, again it's on my channel, a submarine and a gun, pistol. And I immediately heard yellow submarine. Something around that time, I believe, that happened. So I mentioned the Beatles, I think, and I said, about my feelings and that I may do a reading. A couple of people commented about the Paul Fool story. So it seems some of you are in tune, you've got an idea about this. Some of you maybe not, so this could be new to you. Something I didn't realise was that Yellow Submarine was on an album called Revolver. So it's interesting, I saw Revolver and Submarine. What I feel now is that there was some sort of disagreement around Yellow Submarine, maybe the production, something like that, where Paul sort of spoke out and they didn't like it. When I say they, I mean those that governed them. Because these managers of groups are sort of governed by that dark entity behind the scenes, you know, that wants to rule them all. And that's why I believe this happened. There's something there, I feel. The other night I was hearing, a bit random, but I really heard Paul's voice, and he said, "I'll have an haddock and chips, love." So I believe he loved fish and chips, haddock and chips. I was also getting that there's a very loyal lady. She was his lover, and when she knew instinctively when he'd passed away, she felt the loss, was grieving and everything. She found out as well, because I believe the remaining 3 went and told her. They knew about her. And I just keep getting this loyal energy for her. She had a son. I pulled a few cards before this reading, and this is what I got, basically. Just to clarify this. But I want to pull cards on camera for this reading. And I think that she was seen as a threat by the dark forces and removed. That energy is coming through. So he has a son. I believe he has a daughter. I was getting 2 children left behind from the original. Also this morning, when I was just channeling, I was strongly getting a head wound come through as the cause of passing for Paul. I wasn't getting anything else on sort of how it happened, so to speak. So what I want to do for this reading is just sort of go into a bit more detail with the cards and just ask some questions. So let's see on camera. First of all, let's ask, is the real Paul McCartney here with the cards, here or in spirit? As I said, I feel in spirit, but now, as I said that there was a noise, I'm not sure where that came from or if you'll hear it. As I said, in spirit. So we got a confirmation there. But these, you know, with cards we can get clues. Yeah, the Knight of Swords is the bringer of change. The bird flying free in the sky. Wow. Everyone, okay, that just freaked me out a bit. The way it like flipped out of my hands. There. Okay, Spirit is definitely with us in this reading. Okay, don't let it freak you out. I mean, now there's a vehicle passing outside. Not sure if you can hear that. So, was it like an accident or anything else? In terms of how? Wow, everyone. As I said, we get, you know, clues from cards. That's why I love using them. This person here sat at their grave. I'm getting shivers. Looking up at an angel, at the angel of death. So this was destined to happen. I believe. We've got a crow, a dark bird there, sort of showing us something that happened behind the scenes. Outdoors, yeah, he was outdoors. Now that looks like an 8 on the tombstone. 8 is about power, control, money. Yeah, and that's what I was feeling in terms of why it happened. It was to take control of him as a commercial product, is what I'm just hearing. To keep the cash cow going of the band, you know. Now I believe if you do the going down the rabbit hole, I'm just hearing I Buried Paul. There's a track, I believe, if you play backwards, one of the Beatles songs, you hear a voice say I Buried Paul. Isn't that interesting? The imagery in that card. Okay. Yeah, with the knight, you know, knights, this is the fastest moving knight in the deck. There's something about it happened when he was moving, travelling. I believe there has been talk of that, a car accident, but that's what we're getting now. And I was feeling head injury. Anything else we need to know? Now this is alleged in my opinion. Obviously we're just going with what the cards show us, a story. So it happened at night. He was very confused. Yeah, I've just remembered before this reading I was hearing MK Ultra. So some stuff was going on in terms of like controlling their minds and what they did. Yeah, what I believe is that day when it happened, the passing, Paul's energy was very, you know, my camera just cut out, that's quite interesting. I was going to say in a state of confusion, feeling weighed down, heavy. He went out, we're seeing that here, he went out, so he wasn't in a very good mood, I feel. Was at speed, yeah, Knight of Swords is very fast. So that's coming through. He had a lot of things on his mind. I feel that, yeah, he maybe wanted to leave the band. Or there was a disagreement, as I said, something around Yellow Submarine coming through. So we'll take these cards and now ask another question in terms of the replacement. Now I'm just going to share what I feel, what's come through. This was instigated by dark forces, as I said. I feel there was not only that emperor behind the scenes, a couple who invested some money by giving this replacement, so Fool, that is, wanting him to have all the accolades and to continue the story. Now obviously this is crime if this happened. How did they suppress the minds of everyone else, you may ask? Well, as I said about MK Ultra, and I believe money was another thing, you know, like, look, we'll pay you off if you stay quiet. I believe he is with his mother in the spirit realm. Paul, this is the original. But let's see now with the cards, anything else about this replacement fool, who, if you look at some pictures, you'll see is taller than the original. There's quite a few different things. Has to look at, yeah, there's another thing. You can see it even in energy. You know, I could read energy, obviously. But the original from the 60s could just play his guitar naturally. He was left-handed. The replacement apparently had to learn, and you'll notice the current Paul, if it's even the same one, has to look at the music and look down at the guitar, so he's not like a natural player, you know. So let's take a look at this replacement. Yeah, so there's the Emperor, the dark energy behind the scenes that often comes out in my readings. So around that time, he was there on the scene, the Crow again. Someone who has like some dark agendas, secrets, spiritual powers. So that's how this person, I was going to say, that's how this person was created. This person was created. So is it a clone? This is something I've been feeling. You know, I know people have said, is it Billy Shears Campbell? Something like that. But was that person fabricated in the first place? Where did they come from? You know, was that whole story fabricated? That's what I want to say. So the Six of Swords here, Two of Swords, Six of Swords. Around that energy, water coming out as well. Someone here, you know, treading very carefully on these swords, on water, took a risk. They took a risk doing this. Yeah, we're getting a clue here, two energies, and the Six of Swords can show someone who's moved on. So yeah, you know, a clone, possibly a clone of a person, potentially. It was two, yeah, second version. So anything else? Fool, I'm getting, yeah, new. With the egg there, a new creation. The moon has come out twice for deception. With the eyes covered, you know, people didn't see this. Because for most of people's lives, they've known and seen the replacement on screens, you know, that kind of thing. So unless you dive deep, you would just be brainwashed, wouldn't you? In terms of who that really is. So yeah, the past, I feel it was a creation. Yeah, as I said, there was a battle. And there you go, there's someone walking away there. The Crow again. Crow is very mysterious, has hidden knowledge. I'm getting here, this is like some sort of messenger for this Emperor, see? The Crow's arrived there and like he could see what was going on in terms of this battle. and the original Paul walking out. Take one more to make a pyramid, downward pyramid. If you've seen my pyramid reading. Oh right, okay, yeah, I see why. I've just realised something, everyone. What actually urged me to do this reading. After my pyramid reading, when I was saying about celebrities who often make this symbol, meaning they, have like sold themselves to this higher power through, getting the power of the pyramid, gaining finances, fame, for example. And I said about people doing that over their eye, Someone commented and said about there's a clip of Paul McCartney on Jonathan Ross. Thank you to that person, by the way. And it was quite interesting. After that, I clicked on my social media, X, formerly Twitter, and the clip came up on my feed. Yeah. No, maybe that was the divine, who knows? But it's on my X profile page. I've retweeted that, So if you'd like to see it, it's just a short clip. He walks on stage, sits down next to Jonathan Ross, and he just goes like that for a moment, split second, and then puts his hands down. So that's showing us that the current Paul, I believe, is part of that secret society. They're all, it's all in secret, obviously, but they've sold their soul to gain fame, fortune, and everything else. So I believe the others as well were potentially a part of that, and maybe the original Paul didn't want anything to do with it. Was that the reason? But okay, yeah, thank you, Spirit. I've just remembered with the pyramid what made me do this reading. I finally got around to doing it. So let's take another card. Well, we've got two that we'll take there. Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, see, this is the female, I believe, who knew the truth. And the sword there is pointing down, which can, be negative intentions that they had towards that female because of what she knew. I feel she received a sign. See how she's holding a bird there? So she might have seen a bird and just felt very connected, like it was someone coming to visit her. This can happen. You might see this sometimes on your travels. She felt like she just felt this stirring in her soul, that it was him. She trusted her intuition in terms of what she was told and then what she felt. And these are the dark energies that swooped in and eliminated her, because it's interesting how that was like on the top. Wow. Everyone. A lot of birds and the owl there, twice. Wisdom, yeah, things that they found out. Birds flying around, getting like monitoring spirits, dark entities that found out everything, who knew what, all of that, and who shouldn't sort of be here, so to speak. I'm going to clarify this energy. So this is clearly the dark forces here coming through. Wow, yeah. Here's the female with the dog. Now, at the beginning I said about a loyal female. The dog can signify faithful, loyal. It's also interesting, before this reading, a dog kept barking outside. Yeah, so that was really coming through. And that female was weakened, yeah. I feel now, with this card, see how she's giving him something. I feel she was given something that made her poorly. That's how she was taken out. She had some like illness, maybe cancer, that's often how they do it. Made her very poorly, and she felt stuck, trapped. As a result, very physically infirm, and she passed away. Yeah, that's how they did it. That's how they still do it. Yeah, so here's the Emperor behind the scenes, sent someone out to make it happen. That was clearly their agenda there, removing her. That's strongly coming out, and as I said, that's what I felt. Anything else on this female? Lawyer. I'm getting shivers. I feel she's coming through in spirit. I'm getting the initial E coming through. She possibly had dark hair. So she was, I feel, maybe speaking with a lawyer. That could have been why they did what they did. There's some evidence, I believe. Or maybe she was approached by a lawyer in terms of keeping silent. Let's take one more to make it a pyramid again. Just notice that, everyone. Wasn't intentional. But we've got a 10, which speaks of a completion. There's a male here, says 40. Now this could be the son, who has information with the book. He's an information. Maybe this person has gone to a lawyer. They have some evidence that was written by their mother. Wow, I didn't expect this to come through, everyone, but this is clearly the current energy, something that's going on here. I feel. So maybe we'll find out the truth one day. Because, you know, there are some people out there who are intuitive, who are involved. And how do you prove it? Well, yeah, difficult, isn't it? When, you know, if you try and do a DNA test, well, the replacement won't match, will it, with this male? Okay, wow, everyone, that's so interesting. I'm just going to clear the cards, and so we're getting quite a lot of clues with the cards and sort of images. That's why I like using them. Anything else now that Spirit wants to share with us through the cards about this whole story? It's very sad. All for the sake of money and power. With the 8 on the grave, I mean, so the same cards as before, Fool, Ace of Swords. Now we're getting The Ace of Swords, communication. Yeah, something may come out. The Fool can show a child. So is this through this child, his child, who's been really coming through in this reading? It's almost like I'm picking up on him. Wow, everyone. Okay, yeah, I didn't want to say it before, or I didn't say it rather, but when I said about clones, and that Emperor, I feel that they're, reptilian. So that's how they also can do it, shapeshift. So the current energy is a shapeshifter, I believe. Take a look at the person's eyes, as I said in my shapeshifter video. Yeah, that's now coming out. So there's quite a few of them, reptilians basically, who are behind this. And that's what they do with other celebrities. If you don't go along with the story, they'll take you out and clone you, yeah. So do they bring in a shapeshifter? It's just coming through now. So yes, wow, we've got a family here. 2 children. Wow, and that's what I felt on a dog, wow. So I was saying about, someone loyal. Now this dog is with these children. So I feel his children will be possibly the ones who bring out the truth. They're very loyal. They want the truth as well. I mean, they deserve it. With the Ace of Swords there. There you go, 7 of Swords. Flew out there in the past. A lot of deception, lies, cover-ups, swords pointing down, negative. There's the Crow again. The umbrella, I always get like a mask, Okay, we're doing the pyramid again, it would seem. So, okay, one more. Here, families were told lots of lies as well, I feel. Lots of cover-ups. Okay, that's too many cards. We just want one more. Wow. Everyone, you can't make this up. 2 children, male and female, we're seeing in the cards. And this female looks older than that male. Now here we've got, looks like a mouse with a sword pointing up. So yeah, these children are going to bring us the truth, I feel. His real children. I'm just noticing this mouse is above a stag. The stag wow, can you hear the dog barking? Yeah. So I'm getting shivers because these energies are going to be very loyal and want the truth to come out. I do believe it will come out. They're coming out here. We've got the truth there. I was going to say the stag represents the Emperor, divine masculine energy, that came out before, so the Emperor behind the scenes, overridden by the truth. So the truth, I believe, with that one will come out. Mice are very resourceful, fast. So I believe it's, these 2 children, maybe they'll work together. Maybe they share the same DNA. Okay, yeah. So they might have a test and that proves they're both related. How are they both related? Well, the mothers both know who the father is. So the female is from another person, I believe, another mother. Wow, and here in this card, there's the stag walking away. That emperor behind the scenes. And there are two figures here, male and female, who might work together. This is very interesting, everyone. You might notice I've got my charms because of the signs that we've had, and I think they've tried to sort of give lots of signs through album covers, lyrics, that kind of thing. If you take a look, you'll see. I just thought we might get a sign with a charm. Let's see what we get. We've had a lot with cards. So we've got an aeroplane coming through there. Sign of transport, because I was feeling the car. He was in a car, potentially. But it can be like the divine as well. So divine intervention with the feather as well. Some signs that may suddenly come up, be pieced together. Potentially. Okay, I'm also getting, because this is on this card, we're really getting these two children coming through. With the aeroplane, they might be in different countries. And we've got an elephant, very strong. So they're going to be very strong, I believe, in terms of getting evidence, seeing signs, potentially. Now, an elephant can also be a sign of loyalty. Wow, everyone. I can just really feel it, like these children, they really want to do the right thing. They're quite spiritual. Now, an aeroplane can also signify change, transition, obviously, because it's about travel. So they create a change. Okay, let's see if there's anything else. We got 3 more. Now that's interesting. We got a teapot, and I just noticed, well, there's a teapot here with these two children. So with that, I often get confiding in another. So I really get a meeting that happens between those two, and that's what starts this all off. We've got another symbol of strength with the horse, courage, triumph. They're very courageous energies coming through, and we've got a cross which can symbolise burdens, which kind of links with the elephant. A lot of burdens these two have carried in their life, knowing what they know. Grief, sorrow, they never got to meet their father. But they have faith as well. The cross, it's right there in the middle. Wow, everyone. Okay, so I wasn't expecting that. I was feeling there was a child before this reading. As you know, I mentioned a son. But now we're getting 2, and that they could be the ones that solve this mystery. And the truth will come out, I believe. So watch this space. I may do another reading in the future, potentially. But I feel that was quite interesting in terms of the energy right now. Clearly there's something going on. Let me know in the comments what you feel. What do you think? You're all entitled to your own opinion, obviously, whether you believe or not, but trust your intuition. That's what I'm being guided to say. And the feather, yeah. Spirit's just reminded me the feather can mean that. It's a good omen as well. Sign of the truth coming out with the feather, because it's positive. It's kind of linking with the sword there. So that's what I feel. Please do like, share, comment and subscribe if you like this reading. Really does help me and the channel keep it going. I'll put this in the true crime playlist and bring some more readings to you all very soon. So thanks for being here, and I'll see you all very soon.